ruin your fun zone. All right. Shout out to the mods for being awesome today. Thank you guys for controlling the chat and making things excellent for us. And thank you to everybody tuning in so far. We are in game number 1 of the finals for this group. Now, sadly, this means one of your favorite players, whoever you're cheering for here, one of them's going to die and they're going to be gone. The other one's going to get through the group and continue through to day 3 of GFINITY. But, spawning in the bottom right corner of the map, he already played his opponent once. They fell 2-0. We'll see if it's going to happen again. It's AT Gaming's uThermal.
In the upper left, as the blue Zerg, it's my Insanity Sacsri.
Alright, so Sacsri really just had this matchup on lockdown last time. uThermal actually had really great opening and mid games, but he could never finish it off, and he just always, every single time, got whittled away to the point where it was just death and defeat. It kind of sucks too, because I just every time we cast him, I go, sorry, overpraising him, and he's got good control and cool moves, but I don't know, his Hellbat style just leaves something to be desired. Anytime someone just decides to stack on the Mutalisks, we see uThermal struggle.
Yeah. And that's why I go back to it, because I'm still feeling this is pretty accurate. If you could just survive after the initial push and before he's maxed, like that area in between there, without taking game-ending damage, he'll probably be pretty good. But unfortunately, what usually happens is he does take some amount of damage that leads him not to be able to apply a pressure, and then mutaballs just get out of control. And once out of control, there's not much you can do. So uThermal, hopefully he asks some friends, some Terran friends, some Zerg friends, like what I did wrong, like what can I do? And I just hope that he tries Widow Mines, okay?
I feel like any other player, though, couldn't really help him, because uThermal's mental block does seem to be his biggest vice. But, you know, you're saying the thing with Widow Mines, like, he did use Widow Mines last time we saw him. It just wasn't... Yeah, exactly. It wasn't the dedication to them. It was, okay, I invested in some early, but then I, again, went to the words Hellbats, and it didn't really pay off. I've got nothing against Hellbats, too, for this. I mean, the idea is that if the Hellbats can clear out the Banelings, if they can soak enough of the Baneling hits, and the Marines live, Marines are going to outweigh Mutalisks, Widow Mines at killing Mutalisks every single time. Same with the Thors. Marines are going to be king, but the problem is they're so vulnerable, they die so easily, and we never once, I'm trying to think back, I don't think there's a single time where we really saw uThermal just say, haha, Banelings, and then crush them. Every time. He was just bleeding out little bits at a time until it just got too far gone.
Haha, Banelings.
I like to imagine it's like, you know, really cheesy guy on a steed comes riding in, he's like, haha, Banelings, and just like takes his sword out, and he's a hero.
I have to imagine that mounted cavalry are not that good against Banelings.
I would actually imagine they are, because you know what, hear me out on this, right? Like, the horse would take the hits first. Like,
yeah, your horse's legs would disintegrate in acid and you would get thrown over and break your neck.
Right, but it takes the hit for you, so you're still good. And it's the future, so they probably
break your neck.
No, because it's the future. They probably have something for it, like a stim pack. Don't even feel it.
For breaking your neck?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's stuff.
I don't think that's what they're healing.
Look, you're just assuming that whatever chemical is in the stim pack doesn't also somehow offset paralysis. I'm just saying, adrenaline can do some crazy things, Zombie Grub.
Sure, breaking your neck, for the most part, just kills you.
No, it can kill you.
I think it... Okay, someone's actually have to search this, right? So in more cases, does it kill you or does it paralyze you? Someone search that, and, you know, we'll see who's right.
How about you do this? You seem so adamant about being right on it.
You're adamant too, though. Like, you can't just throw that out when you're also, like, arguing the same point. You're not like, yeah, Zombie Grub, you're right. And I'm going, yeah, I am right. Yeah, Rifkin. Jesus.
I'm pretty sure.
Anyways.
I'm pretty sure I'm right. I'm just saying.
Okay. Well, maybe. Anyways. We do have Roach Born on the way, and a lot of roaches. And uThermal went for probably the greediest build that you can go.
Yeah, this is, without Banshees, this was going to make this so heartful. I mean, you can repair that bunker for days, and you'll hold the line against 8 or 10, but you'll lose a lot of SCVs in the process. The other problem, too, is he doesn't have the full wall off just yet. 6 minutes is when we see the paranoia really strike, and you get those really fast walls, but the SCV is going to scout this, so we'll see if we can get a full wall down in time. That's a lot of roaches to reveal, and for uThermal's sake, oh, man, he's trying to get a Marauder, but there's nothing in the bunker.
And there's going to be 2 Marines and a single Marauder. The Widow Mines coming out are a good choice. Hellions will not help very much. There aren't any Lings that are going to be powering through this that they'll be necessary for after the wall is broken. It's just about getting down these roaches. And for Sacsri, it's about killing as many SCVs as possible.
Yeah, that's why uThermal was a little bit hesitant to just jump onto that bunker and repair it. But the Marauder goes in, and now he's got to kind of dedicate to it. Now, the nice thing is, if he holds here, there is 3 CCs behind it. Mules, SCVs, these are things that he can replace pretty easily, but giving up the position, deciding not to dedicate to this. Got a couple of Widow Mines out, and he's going to just pull back towards the main, but that's a lot of depots to just give away. He's already lost a couple SCVs for it. Rolling shots are not amazing.
Yeah. 2 for 2 roaches at the end is better than nothing, I suppose. Because it's not that there are more roaches on the way, and you're like, well, that just, that's whatever in a context of 20 more roaches. It is just these roaches that he got, and he's droning up behind it, getting the tech, getting the upgrades, getting the economy. Every roach that he kills is, further in retaking that natural. But he took a huge blow. Huge. And as we already went over, he has difficulty in the matchup. The best you can hope for in a situation where you're not comfortable is at least a very perfect beginning macro game. Like, that's the least you can ask for when you know the mid game's gonna suck. Now the early game sucks too. You're probably in a good position to win.
Well, I'm surprised actually that it's so hard to use the Marauders like this, right? There's no concussive shells, turn around on a dime. I mean, he's doing a great job of fighting against the roaches, but so much mining denied and kind of lost to it. Now, for Sacsri's sake, he didn't exactly skyrocket ahead, right? His third base only just coming down. His drone count's looking fantastic, but not exactly so far gone that uThermal's out of the game. And he'll clean up these last couple of roaches and go back to mining.
But he's at 29 SCVs, off of, only 1 base for a minute or 2. And Sacsri is just already on his way to everything that he needs, including upgrades. That is something uThermal was unable to throw down before the attack happened.
Well, I think one of the other things is, I mean, we're going to start seeing these mules bridge that gap, right? Like, there was that big time where you just couldn't really land much here. 4 mules mining is a lot, and this is just, it's such a funky spot to be in. If only uThermal had just gone for like a typical Banshee opener, like that would have been so easy to deal with, but he did deal with it like exceptionally well with how badly prepared he was, if that makes sense.
Sure. Wouldn't mind covering the 4th is kind of a cool move, although I think we did see Sacsri take the other 4th, I think, or maybe that was a 5th. Maybe it was a 5th. Point is, some Zergs don't mind taking the 4th, that pushes you closer to your opponent, even though it's generally what you don't want to do. Especially if you're in a commanding position, as Sacsri is. But now 71 drones. Medevacs. The Medevacs is 1 shot at basically doing damage because the mutas aren't quite out. Sorry.
No, I was going to say it's interesting it's not going to put the bunker back on the wall. But yeah, the Medevac, it's funny because there's really 2 trains of thoughts on this, right? Like, you take a lot of damage early on, you either play super defensive and try and recover and like sort of a turtley stance, or you get aggressive and you try and keep your opponent on the other side of the field so you can also sort of expand and get these SCVs out the same way. But I mean, this is either way not a comfortable spot for uThermal to be in, and to rely on the Medevac so heavily like this, it's going to be tough. I mean, you're right, the mutas aren't going to be out. The Spire's not done for some time, but it's still not that many units that are actually going across the map to try and kill drones, to try and pick off, I don't know, Queen or whatever.
Well, if you do the drop in the main, and uThermal does do this even without the initial, this usually just is his plan in general, you don't get to clear up the creep that's in the middle of the map, so it's kind of a give and take, and hopefully you can do damage here to make up for that. A couple of drones go down, but the Lynx, well, they're covering it pretty fast here.
Well, even then, that's a great spot for uThermal. Trades out pretty decently before getting out.
Yeah.
Not devastating damage, but not bad.
Yeah.
I think other too.
Potentially, they all have speed, so they would run away. They didn't have upgrades for that either, so the Lings were actually not so bad against the Marines. I don't think that made up for taking the early game damage and being able to clear up the middle right now, which is where his attack path is going to be through the middle. It's going to be creeped up.
So this is kind of clever. Like, uThermal recognizes, oh, if all the Lings are over here, there must be nothing in the main, but sadly there is. Also go for the stag defense. I like this move. We don't see a lot of Zerg players willing to go for the stag defense this early, but a Spine and a Spore can buy you a lot of time and stop drops from being just straight up devastating.
Yeah. Ooh, going to the 4th base. Sacsri already has Lings on the way. Maybe he has like a couple more seconds to get the hatchery down pretty low, but he has to deal with the counterattack of his own at the 3rd. No banelings, but enough Lings.
A lot of Lings do get by, but I mean, the thing is, like, uThermal with that 3rd CC did get that SV count back up where he wanted it to be. This isn't so bad for him. Position by the mineral lines here is just fantastic as he continues to hold on and just trade out so well versus the Lings. And again, it's all these little things that uThermal does that I really love, but I'm sitting here watching and gushing and like, oh, he's playing this really well. And then I just know it's going to fall apart in like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Upgrade's still going to be ahead for Sacsri. A good amount ahead, too. So uThermal is going to have this very slow push across a lot of creep. It's going to be a lot of scans. And honestly, with the way this game has already been going, where he's just never had the commanding position, getting a quick 4th base as opposed to trying to be aggressive on 3 for as long as possible might be the way to go.
And it's not really have to deal with mutas either up to this point. The Marines are going to be more than enough to shred through them, but he's got to protect them and keep them alive. That is the problem when you play without Widow Mines. You really have to rely on those Hellbats, soaking the hits from the Banelings and doing enough damage to them. Sure, Marauders can also kill a couple as well, but for the most part, if they actually get past those 2 layers of defense and get on top of those Marines, then the mutas kill all the Marauders. The mutas kill all the Hellbats. Who cares? There's no anti-air.
Yeah. Until that Thor is out too, and you only just got the 2nd factory, the mutas are always going to have kind of free reign over like little packs of units, Marauders and Hellbats, and of course Medivacs that are out of position. So again, just all coming back down. The Sacsri is in the lead. He's probably in the lead already just mentally when they get into this game, and then that roach attack happened. So uThermal's always had an uphill battle, and the way to play out of that is quite difficult.
I love the heavy turret count. It looks silly, but kind of necessary.
Yeah.
I think it was uThermal who also threw down like 6 turrets at a completely mined out base just because he was like, it felt like they were on tilt turrets, you know what I mean?
Yeah, same map, same player. Do you recall? T2's going to finish up for uThermal for this attack, which is, is one lucky strike right here, but does he have enough units to take on so many Banelings?
Yeah, I don't know. He's going to kite backwards, and the Hellbats took some of the hits pretty nicely towards the natural base, and he cleans up on that side, but on this left side, the Marines have got nowhere to run. The SCVs are here. They've walled themselves into the base. There is a bunker, but oh, he's not going to be able to raise that depot. CC gets lifted to minimize damage. Pretty smart moves over there. Takes out the last couple Banelings. It looks like he should be able to stabilize. But there's still the threat of mutas chasing down this poor SCVs. Oh, no.
And with the Ling coverage, it looks like the mutas are going to be able to take on the Marines. The Thor does pop out, and they'll have to run away from that.
Oh, God, that's right. I forgot. The game yesterday was that one where we almost had like 15 mutas pop off to a Thor shot if only been able to shoot one more time. Ah.
Yeah, it's true. That is true.
uThermal
takes a lot of damage there.
He does, and I think a lot of that too is because he really thought with his army being in the middle, there's no way Sacsri would push through the middle, right? There's no way Sacsri would actually take on the army head on, and that's why he had all his defense of the depots, the bunker, everything on the left side, really expecting that 3rd base to be just set for life. But while this goes on, Sacsri does a lot of damage, and he takes the 5th base. And he's got creep spread all over the map. He's just got dominance and control over this game.
Yep. Has been from the beginning. And one of the things I also like, again, Hellbat compositions can work. I just don't think they should be a go-to as you always do it. And I think you have to be quite good. A lot of finesse in the matchup, understanding the matchup to do it in the first place. But the Widow Mines just, of course, they always can peter out and they don't do anything, and that sucks. And that's probably why uThermal doesn't do it, right? Because he got burnt in the past, basically, like an old flame, right? But they at least force the Zerg to reconsider. Like, you talk about he didn't expect him to actually take that engagement. I think if there's Widow Mines that he has to watch out for, like 8 Widow Mines that I've been collecting this entire game, Sacsri actually doesn't take that engagement. He's like, okay, that's a minefield. I'm not going to push in there. But without it, it's an easy peasy, like, I have more units than you do. Let me push in.
It's really hard, too, because for uThermal, it's not like he's such a bad player. He can't use Widow Mines. I mean, if we could be honest, Widow Mines, sometimes just with their luck alone, don't necessitate a lot of skill. But the problem is that because he has insisted on purely Hellbats, his anti-air is lagged, his AoE's really lacked. Dealing with this many Lings and Banelings is just proving to be more and more difficult as time goes on. And while the mutas can end up diving forward by a bit of an accident, the Banelings just eventually tear through everything.
Yeah. They're going to explode mostly on the Thors at the end right there. Doesn't kill any of them, so 3 Thors are still quite scary. Oh,
nice pickup.
The last one.
Oh,
Very
for
nice.
a moment.
Very nice, but look at this mini-map, man.
I know.
Like, he's just covering all avenues.
The mini-map is one thing. The supply count is, of course, another. 3rd base has never really been safe at any point in this game, and Sacsri's able to just take his economy and throw into more Banelings and Banelings and more Banelings. I mean, the resources lost is fairly even, but that doesn't really matter because Sacsri's had the money to just throw things away all game. It's not about trading cost effectively. It's just about brute forcing your opponent down with your own money. Oh god, the creep's actually right outside his natural. It's a little too far gone at this point. Thor trying to micro around, can't find a place to unload it. GG's going to be called, and Sacsri will take game number 1 in this best of 3. Now, of course, it's the final